In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad, to whom all praise is forever due. We thank him for raising in our midst the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the eternal leader of the nation of Islam, the exalted Christ. We thank them both for their perfected representative, the mercy of Allah in our midst, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I greet you in the words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, today is September 17th, 2018. This is the 33rd year since the vision-like experience of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on the wheel. I was asked by Brother Troy 5X to share my thoughts and reflections on this day. We know that Minister Farrakhan received a cryptic message from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and ultimately what was in that message evolved into guidance for our national development. In addition to the revealed study guides entitled Self-Improvement, the Basis for Community Development, which is the process by which the gulf between man and God is crossed, and that process is called resurrection. Minister Farrakhan himself has evolved right in the presence of black people in the world into a man exerting force and power, and that is the definition of a God. When I am approached by someone or I come across something where the significance of the subject is contained in numbers, then I think in regard to the significance of certain numbers. And of course we know Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. First of all, I think about the 33rd chapter of the Holy Quran, which goes under the name The Allies. And we know, of course, that this chapter or surah focuses heavily on the domestic life of Muhammad ibn Abdullah, and it addresses the physical as well as the spiritual relationship of Muhammad with the faithful followers. And the reason, as the translator Maulana Muhammad Ali notes, that it is called the Allies are actually the enemies of the Muslims. It's a confederacy of polytheists, idolatrous tribes, and the Jews, and they conspired to come together to exterminate the Muslims. I believe we are in that exact moment right now. The number 33 is a multiple of 11, and 11, of course, is a master number which symbolizes principles of spiritual awakening and enlightenment. Minister Farrakhan was born on the 11th day of May in 1933. May is a 5, which is an odd number, but it's a number that indicates power. We know the significance of the number 19 as we were taught by Mother Tainetta Muhammad. It's actually Allah's signature. The minister has many odd numbers in his life. 33 is also a master number, and it contains the energy of compassion, honesty, discipline, bravery, and courage. The number 33 also indicates guidance, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is divinely guided, and he is our guide in our midst today. The number 33 also indicates that all things are possible and that there is no personal agenda, only the upliftment of humanity. In the last few weeks, we have experienced two major events, one of which was the passing of the Queen of Soul, our beloved sister, Aretha Franklin. And we all witnessed the going home service that took place, wherein the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was seated along with other leaders in the black community. What Allah showed us on that stage was who his servant is, Minister Louis Farrakhan. It was the quintessence of the clean glass, dirty glass lesson. This was followed a few weeks later by an incredible event yesterday on the 16th of September, where the revival of the Million Man March was hosted at Reverend Willie Wilson's church in Washington, D.C. And the message that the minister delivered at that church, in my mind, indicates that he has reached a level of transcendence that makes him unlike any other human being among us. The fact that he sat through the services of our sister Aretha Franklin, and he was the epitome of serenity and dignity, followed by his message yesterday, which everyone needs to hear. There should be no question in anyone's mind whose direction the black community needs to follow in this hour. So those are just a few of the things that come to my mind as I reflect on this 33rd anniversary of the vision-like experience of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on the wheel. May Allah bless us all with love and the light of understanding as I leave you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Please explore the collective9.org website and subscribe to the newsletter. Explore the site and make sure you check out Web TV.
So in calling this press conference, I'm calling you because of the serious nature of the announcement that I'm about to make. An announcement on which hangs the future of this nation, its leaders, and the people of America. This is not the usual press conference, though I realize that you may only be able to use a very small portion of what I say if you choose to use it at all. However, I would hope that you record everything that I say, that it may bear a record either for or against you and me. It is written in the book of Ezekiel, "When I say unto the wicked, you shall surely die, and you give him not warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at your hand. But if you warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but you have delivered your soul." It is in this spirit that I make this announcement. In a tiny town in Mexico, called Tepoztlan. There's a mountain on top of which is the ruins of a temple dedicated to Quetzalcoatl, the Christ figure of Central and South America. A mountain which I've climbed several times. However, on the night of September the 17th, 1985, I was carried up on that mountain in a vision with a few friends of mine. As we reached the top of the mountain, a wheel, or what you call an unidentified flying object, appeared at the side of the mountain, and I was called from the wheel to come up into the wheel. 3 metal legs appeared from the wheel, giving me the impression that it was going to land, but it never came over the mountain. Being somewhat afraid, I called to the members of my party to come with me, but a voice from the wheel spoke, saying, "Not them, just you." I was told to relax, and a beam of light came from the wheel, and I was carried up on this beam of light into the wheel. I sat next to the pilot. However, I could not see him. I could only feel his presence. As the wheel lifted off from the side of the mountain, moving at a terrific speed, I knew I was being transported to the mother wheel, or the mother plane, which is a human-built planet a half a mile by a half a mile, which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us of for over 60 years. The pilot, knowing that I was fearful of seeing this great mechanical object in the sky, maneuvered his craft in such a way that I would not see the mother plane, and then backed quickly into it and docked in a tunnel. I was escorted by the pilot to a door and admitted into a room. I shall not bother you with a description of the room, but suffice it to say that at the center of the ceiling was a speaker, and through this speaker I heard the voice of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad speaking to me as clearly as you hear my voice this morning. He spoke in short, cryptic sentences, and as he spoke, a scroll full of cursive writing rolled down in front of my eyes, but it was a projection of what was being written in my mind. As I attempted to read the cursive writing, which was in English, the scroll disappeared and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad began to speak to me again. He said, and I quote, "President Reagan has met with the Joint Chiefs of Staff to plan a war. I want you to hold a press conference in Washington, D.C., and announce their plan and say to the world that you got the information from me on the wheel." End quote. He said to me that he would not permit me to see him at that time, but he said that I had one more thing to do, and when that one more thing was done, I could come again to the wheel and I would be permitted to see him face to face. He then dismissed me, and I entered the small wheel, and the pilot, whom I still could not see, moved the craft out of the tunnel and took it up to a terrific height and maneuvered his craft that I might look down upon the mother wheel, and I saw a city in the sky. With great speed, it brought me back to earth and dropped me off near Washington, where I then proceeded into this city to make the announcement. After I awakened from the vision, it seemed to vanish from my mind. However, on the morning of September the 19th, 1985, a great earthquake struck Mexico City, and it was felt as far away as Tepoztlan, the little town where I was staying. The earthquake brought the vision forcibly to my mind, and I spoke it later that morning for the first time to my wife, Khadija Muhammad, and to Sister Tainetta Muhammad in the city of Cuernavaca in Morelos, Mexico.